Bob Duffy. He is going to be fantastic. Isn't he something? Give him a round of applause. Bob and I are a new team, so we're feeling it out a little bit as we go. You know, when Bob was mentioning about in the introduction that I'm the tide for governor, what happens is we're at an event, one of the first events, and Bob is introducing me, and Bob says, and Andrew's going to be the greatest governor in the history of the state of New York, Andrew Cuomo. Seems like it goes fine. Until the end of the event, my father comes walking over to Bob. My father hasn't talked to Bob since, but he'll get over it. So we're going to take tide for the greatest governor. But Bob has done a fantastic job in Rochester. Everybody knows it. Everybody talks about it. He knows Western New York. I am so proud to have him on my team. Let's give him another round of applause. Your mayor, talk about a rising star, a shooting star. You are so lucky to have him. He's been a good friend of mine for a long time. I've known your mayor since before he was your mayor. When I was at HUD, we did a lot of good work together, and then I was an admirer of his when he was in Albany. But the one thing he hasn't had is what he's going to get. A partner in state government who is here to work with him and make a difference. Congressman Higgins, I call him the professor because he is still the professor. Isn't he beautiful to listen to? Always smart, always teaching. I take notes when Brian speaks. Congressman Higgins, let's give him a round of applause. Eric Schneiderman is with us all day. He was with us yesterday. This is a really important election. This is about who the next Attorney General is. I know a little something about the office. I'm a little partisan about the office. This is an office with tremendous capacity to make a difference in people's lives. This office does bread and butter issues. This does mortgage fraud. This does student loans. This does investor protection. This fights drugs. We did a lot of cases together, the mayor and I, fighting drugs all across upstate New York. This office makes a difference in your life, sometimes in a way that you don't even know it made a difference in your life. And we've shown over the past 4 years what that office can do. Do not retire the office of Attorney General. Don't turn off the switch. Don't close the door. Elect Eric Schneiderman to make that Attorney General's office do what we need it to do. I'd also like to recognize all the members of the faith-based community here who are here today. Pastor Chapman, pleasure to be with you. Mayor said senior pastor, but I'm not saying senior because you look so youthful. Pastor and First Lady Chapman, pleasure to be with you today. Thank you very much. I'd like to acknowledge Pastor Pridgeon, who's here today. Thank you very much. I'll tell you a little secret that I heard when I was doing my prayers. I heard that the pastor was going to be the next council member right here from this district, and we congratulate him. And all the elected officials, all the colleagues who I've had the opportunity to serve with, but a special acknowledgement, and it's special for me personally to be here with Deputy Speaker Eve. You know, Eric was talking about when we started, seems like a lifetime ago. 1982, Mario Cuomo was running for governor of the state of New York. Eric and I were basically just out of short pants. I still wear short pants, but that's a different story. And we were helping get my father elected, and we were young guys, and we didn't know what we didn't know. And I went to Albany, and I was just watched with eyes wide open. And I saw a group of people, group of men and women, who inspired me to do what I'm doing today. I watched These people argue and debate and fight, always about principle, always about people. And I was so moved that I said, that's what I want to do with my life. And Arthur Eve was a mentor of mine, a hero of mine. I watched him, I learned. I have tremendous respect for what he did and what he's done for this state. He inspired a whole generation of people who said, I want to do that with my life. And for you to be here the day before Election Day means everything to me. Deputy Speaker Arthur Eve. Now, when you get to this point in the program, everything has been said, just not everyone has said it. So let me just put an exclamation point in a couple of remarks. First, tomorrow I believe is vitally important. I believe it's the most important election in my lifetime. I believe every election is important because government can do good things, but my friends, all the chips are on the table for tomorrow. All the chips. You tell me what happens tomorrow. I will tell you the direction this nation takes with the U.S. Congress. I will tell you what happens to President Obama's agenda with that U.S. Congress. I will tell you what direction this state heads over the next few years. And I will tell you the statement we make about the type of people we are. That's what tomorrow is really about. Congressman Higgins, why? Because sometimes Americans have short memories, and they forget where this nation was 2 years ago. And maybe they're not happy with where we are today, and I don't blame anyone, because I'm not happy with where we are today. But remember where we were when this president took office. We were on the edge of the economic abyss. There was going to be a world crisis. The economy was in chaos. And 2 years later, the economy is stabilized. And we have to remember that, and we have to remember the progress that we made, and we have to remember where we were, because we're not going back to where we were. And that is what this election is about on the federal level. And that's why Congressman Higgins has to win tomorrow, where this state is going to go. Because the professor is right. Byron is right. The state has not been a partner for Buffalo. And this is not just the past year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. This is 15 years where the state government just hasn't been performing the way the state government has to perform. And I don't care how good a mayor is. I don't care if you're Bob Duffy in Rochester. I don't care if you're Mayor Brown in Buffalo. If you don't have the state as a functioning partner, you can't do what you need to do. And it's as simple as this. The state government in Albany has been dysfunctional, has been incompetent. You have to turn around the culture. You have to remind that administration that the politicians in Albany represent the people of this state. They're not there to take care of the special interests. They're not there to take care of the political donors. They represent the people, and they have to deliver for the people. Why aren't we bringing jobs back to this state? Because we're the highest tax state in the nation. That's why, and that's going to change. Because until that changes, New York is not going to be generating the jobs it needs to generate. And there's no reason why the taxes are as high as they are. There's no reason why. It's just the politicians in Albany don't want to say no to the special interests. Well, you know what? Sometimes the answer is no, because I'm not going to raise taxes, because government is not going to put its hand in your pocket, because you can't pay any more taxes. We get that state government functioning again, we get taxes under control in the state, then we'll be able to generate jobs in Buffalo, and that's what this is all about. Jobs, 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 good, high-paying jobs, partnering with the mayor to create jobs. And this election is about something else. This election is also going to tell us what kind of statement we make as a people. It'll tell us the direction of the nation. It'll tell us the direction of the state. It'll tell us if we're smart. It'll make a comment about how we're thinking. But it's also going to make a comment about how we're feeling and who we are as a people. Because what's happening out there, and let's be honest, people are scared, people are angry, they should be. The economy is slow, the economy's been slow for a long time, housing values disappeared, people's equity in their homes have been wiped out. The equity in the home was everything. That was the retirement fund, that was the payment for your daughter's wedding, that was the college tuition, that just disappeared overnight. People turned to government, they thought the government was going to be there to help, and they got frustrated and disappointed when they turned to government. So people are scared and people are angry. And you feel it all across the state, you feel it all across the country. The question is, now that you feel that way, what are you going to do about it? And how are you going to react? And what kind of people are you? And what kind of character do you have? And what are you going to do with this fear? And what are you going to do with this anger? And where do you put it? And that's a question about who you are in your soul. Not just about what you think and how smart you are. Who are you as a person? Who are you as a community? And we've had voices in this campaign that are trying to stoke that anger, that are trying to prey on that fear and use the anger. And the instinct is to use the anger to divide us as a state. Listen to what they've been saying. We'll take welfare families and we'll put them in retrofitted state prisons to learn personal hygiene. Bob is exactly right. They need jobs. They don't need your personal hygiene lesson. But what that was really about was trying to separate rich people from poor people and trying to demonize poor people. We'll take young kids from failing schools, and we'll take the young child out of the failing school, and we'll take them out of the home, and we'll put them in a state-sponsored boarding school to be conditioned. What was that really about? It was about trying to separate rural New Yorkers, suburban New Yorkers from urban New Yorkers. You know, those kids in the inner city trying to separate. What were the racist emails about? Trying to separate us, black from white. Going downstate, spending a few days in downstate. Then our opponent comes back to upstate New York and he says, boy, those people in Manhattan, they walk around like they're catatonic. I'm glad I'm in upstate. What was that about? Trying to separate upstate from downstate. That's what that campaign has been about. Use the fear, use the anger, divide and conquer, right? The oldest strategy, divide and conquer, and place wedges in the cracks among society and trying to separate us and defeat us that way. Our campaign is the exact opposite. And what tomorrow is all about is the exact opposite. Don't you dare talk about dividing people of this state. You don't know who we are, and you don't know what this state is all about if you think you can come here and preach that. I don't care how scared we are. I don't care how angry we are. We're not going to lose our mind, and we're not going to be unkind. And we've been together too long, and we've been through too much. We're going to get smart. We're going to get united. We're going to figure out the problem, and we're going to defeat the problem. But we are not going to defeat ourselves. And we are not going to turn on one another. And we're not going to allow you to divide us. And we're not going to allow your negativity to infect us. And tomorrow we are going to rise up as a people and as a state, and we are going to make a powerful, sweeping, beautiful statement about what unity is all about, and what community is all about. And we are going to stand up, black New Yorkers and brown New Yorkers and white New Yorkers, all together, saying we are New York, and we are going forward as one state. And we're going to be upstate, and we're going to be downstate, and we're going to say we are one state.